At Kepler 822, a Chia Industries facility used for ocean bottom drilling research. Nora Price, a mechanical engineer, is going about her daily routine when she notices a leak on the ceiling and flickering lights. As she emerges from the restroom to look into it, she is struck by the unexpected waves that are passing through the walls and signifying a pressure breach. Rodrigo Nagenda is the sole person who follows her as she dashes down the hallway, trying to alert others approaching to rush to the bulkhead. When they get to the bulkhead, they plan to shut the doors to prevent the remainder of the station from being destroyed as well, but Nora has to force start the computer under extreme pressure in a short amount of time. Fortunately, she is successful, but she chooses to hold off on closing because two more crew members are approaching down the hallway. She ultimately closes the doors to stop the devastation from spreading, leaving those two guys behind because it is impossible for them to get to them before the breach does. When the computer they're using blows up, Nora and Rodrigo momentarily lose consciousness. The emergency recording informs them that the station is 70% compromised when they awaken. Rodrigo believes it was an earthquake, despite some unexplained sounds emanating from outside. After unsuccessfully attempting to contact for assistance, Nora grabs Rodrigo and together they search for the escape pods. The sole route to the pods is along a filthy hallway, therefore they must take it after confirming their position and status in the CPU room. They hear someone calling for assistance as they cautiously make their way through the debris, and when they locate Paul Abel beneath a rock pile, he joins them after finding his stuffed animal. When the three of them eventually reach the pod bay, where Captain Lucienne has remained behind while others fled in the evacuation pods, all of which have already been deployed, they crawl through an extremely small area and even come across the body of another crew member. Sending Paul and Rodrigo to check on the submersibles, Lucienne watches while Nora uses a computer to unjam the door. When the chamber is unlocked, Lucienne brings Nora inside to examine her for injuries. After the guys tell them it's not safe to use the submersibles, he sends her to the control room. Nora discovers a romantic relationship between biologist Emily Haversham and engineer Liam Smith in the control room. Emily informs the other three guys that there's nowhere for the energy that is built up in the station to go and that a meltdown might occur at any moment. The crew disagrees with Lucienne's suggestion that they relocate to the Roebuck 641 facility as they have no means of communicating with the surface. There, they would have to go 2 miles while wearing pressurized suits and never know what might be waiting for them outside. Liam plays a recording of the most recent communication from the drill site, in which the guys appear to be under attack by the same enigmatic sound that Nora had heard. Additionally, the outside temperature has increased by 10 degrees, which is odd because water doesn't do that. Accepting the plan to go to the Roebuck, they had nowhere else to go. The gang gets to work getting outfitted. As Emily has never dived before and no one has ever been outdoors for more than a few minutes to mend a pipe, she is anxious. Paul makes sure he has his stuffed animal with him, and Rodrigo inspects the final 2 helmets before giving Nora one. Liam decides to get a gun before leaving because of the noises he heard in the recording, and Paul adopts the same strategy. After everyone is outfitted, they board the elevator, and Liam tells them to hold on tight since the pressure will hit them hard because the outer hatch has been torn to pieces. When Nora detects cracks in Rodrigo's helmet, she tries to warn Liam not to open the door, but it's too late. The water strikes them, causing Rodrigo's helmet to implode and killing him. They go into a freight lift because they had to leave right away and don't have time to mourn. Though Lucienne advises her to grow used to it, Nora feels bad because she believes Rodrigo gave her the last good helmet on purpose knowing it was broken. One of the pods sends out a distress signal as the lift descends with everyone inside. Lucienne orders Paul and Liam to explore, thinking they might be able to save more survivors. Paul gives Emily his rabbit before heading out. The lads continue following Nora's instructions despite the fact that it is dark outside and the platforms are shaky. They discover the pod has imploded and is covered in a strange organism that resembles algae after hearing the unusual noises from earlier. In addition, they discover a body. Since no one can be saved, Lucienne gives them the order to return, but Paul ignores him. A strange, liquefied figure on the back of the body diverts his attention and then moves abruptly to attack him. After Liam shoots the beast, they bring it inside a short while later. When Emily looks at it, she sees that it has talons and that it once had a mouth for eating, but she is unable to locate any eyes. As she's discussing the potential discovery of a new species, the elevator abruptly cuts off and ceases functioning. Paul knows the thing they have is a baby when he hears the sounds from outside and quickly closes the door. Even after Nora disconnects the elevator, they continue to remain still. Just before the Kepler bursts, an adult monster suddenly arrives at the window. The crew barely makes it out in time as the elevator begins to fall without control, and they scramble to get their helmets back on before it hits the sea floor. Once outdoors, they must move quickly because the explosion's debris is falling all around them. After Liam is struck, he is rescued by Lucienne and Nora, who also assist him in getting to an intermediate station where they find damage to his oxygen scrubber. They ride a mover through an access tunnel as Nora smashes out a control panel to summon one, all the while hearing the creatures following them from outside. Sadly, the tunnel floods and forces them to stop the mover in the middle. They proceed on foot, but soon discover additional debris is obstructing their path. Being the smallest, Nora offers to dive in and try to locate another way out, and she succeeds in doing so since there's a narrow but spacious path beneath the debris that can accommodate them all. Before sending the crew inside, Lucienne wires them all in. All of them pass through without any problems, with the exception of Paul, who is heard stating he senses something behind him. The crew begins tugging at the cables to bring him along since he isn't coming in. They pull him through, but no sooner does he take off his helmet than his wire begins to tug from the opposite direction. Before re-putting his helmet on, Paul gives them his bunny. The crew does everything to cling on to him, but it's too late. A creature rips him out of the suit and murders him. Before the beast catches up with them, the group flees, arriving at a communications room where Lucienne makes an unsuccessful attempt to request assistance. Upon seeing the drill through the glass, Liam questions how, with its 6,000-ton weight, it could have been destroyed in such a manner. Emily responds, this is their fault for digging too deep into the ocean bottom, and she is now taking back. Nora concurs with her when she decides that no one ought to be down there. They're worried about Liam because his suit won't hold up, but Lucienne points out they can't stay in there any longer as he realizes the window is beginning to shatter. He advises them to move on without him because he would simply be a burden, but the others decide to assist him in walking instead of abandoning him. Shortly after the four of them set out to cross the ocean floor, a monster begins swimming around them. They switch off the lights on the suit, but it doesn't really help because the thing resurfaces, seizes Liam, and drags him into a cave. Lucienne enters the cave and discovers that he is still alive because they can still see his foot by the entrance. He then begins to bring him out. Lucienne returns to the cave to get the pistol after dropping Liam off with the girls, but the thing follows him in and drags him farther in, dragging Nora along since she is attached to him via the cables. When Nora descends on a floating platform and finds Lucienne tangled at its edge, she tries to assist him, but a creature appears and approaches, biting her helmet. As the thing plunges more into the sea, Lucienne leaps on it to push it away, dragging them along with it. Lucienne sacrifices himself and removes his suit from Nora's so that she can float away before he implodes because he knows that the pressure will kill them both soon. After a brief period of unconsciousness, Nora wakes up to find her suit is falling apart. She flees after being scared by an octopus and discovers a door that lets her into the deserted shepherd station. She sobs over her captain's passing, gets dressed in dry clothing, and then investigates the location. Although Emily is unable to communicate him, she manages to locate a map of the drilling site in Lucien's old locker, determined to live. She gets a flare gun and dons a new suit she finds nearby before returning to the ocean below and attempting to reach the roebuck as planned. When she hears Emily's voice, she's following the markers and rushes towards her, making Emily flee as well. Believing Nora to be one of the animals, she is immediately comforted by Nora, who also expresses her pride in her for surviving and maintaining her relationship with her lover. They drag Liam across the floor together as they resume their walk, chatting away the time until they eventually come across the glowing roebuck station, where they discover a nest of those creatures suspended from the ceiling, seemingly sleeping or hibernating. Nora tells Emily about her fiancé, who was Liam's best friend and vanished during a diving mission he took alone, which is why she hates feeling powerless to change anything. The girls try to slip past after turning off their suit lights, but their plot is foiled when Emily's oxygen alarm goes off. When one of the animals awakens, it snatches Nora and orders Emily to get Liam and head for the door. As the thing begins to devour Nora, she manages to free herself by shooting the beast from inside with her flare gun. As Nora prepares a second flare bullet, since the other creatures are beginning to awaken as well, she notices that the creatures are being hoisted by something massive and snarling when Nora fires her flare pistol into the distance. She realizes that the creature that is coming toward her is the ancient Cthulhu. She is startled for a few seconds before attempting to flee, but Cthulhu appears behind her and detonates something, knocking her unconscious. Fortunately, Emily comes to her rescue by grabbing her and escorting her into the station. Since Nora's helmet is stuck and she is running out of oxygen, Emily takes a fire extinguisher and uses it to crack the helmet, restoring Nora's breathing. Helping Liam out of his suit, the three of them dash through various halls until they reach the control room, where a window allows them to watch Cthulhu and its abominations. After consulting the computer's map of the station, Nora leads her other crew members to the pod bay. Although the emergency system is locking doors and the station is gradually filling with water, they are able to find their way after avoiding several approaching waves. Nora doesn't let the other two pods know that just two of the three that are waiting for them are operational. After placing Liam in the first pod and sending him outside with Paul's stuffed animal, Emily is next in line, but she won't let herself in after learning of Nora's deception. Time is running out, so Nora strikes Emily and makes her get into the pod, telling her everything will be okay before sending her away. Although Nora has come to terms with her fate, she becomes anxious upon learning that the creatures are pursuing the pods. In her final moments, she devises a strategy so she won't feel helpless. Nora uses the computer to start an overload of the robot's nuclear core, which results in a catastrophic explosion that kills her, Cthulhu, and its monsters and lets the pods escape safely. Recalling that Emily had mentioned that the stations have a lot of collected energy with nowhere to go. To ensure you never miss any updates on new videos, kindly click the bell icon, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.